2010 is going to be a mandate or a referendum.
Brian, could we end on a great note?
Yeah, this is it. 2010 is going to be a referendum on what this country is going to look like. Is it going to be a country remade in President Barack Obama and Mark Shower's image? Or is it going to be a country that finds its moorings again in the Constitution and we the people? Thank you very much.
I've heard so much on television and from people too. It's repeated so much. Well, there were no, when our soldiers went into Iraq and so forth, our people went in to investigate. They didn't find any evidence of weapons of mass destruction. I know they found chemical components that they had used, and I know the president of Iraq had used chemical weapons on his own people. But how should I respond when people say, oh, well, there were no, that was ridiculous to go into Iraq?
Well, the pre-war intelligence, said that there were weapons of mass destruction, which included biological, chemical, and nuclear. It seems pretty self-evident that there weren't nuclear weapons there. A lot of people, and that's after the fact. It's easy to say after the fact. But I can tell you, Saddam Hussein liked the notion of spreading that around the Middle East and the rest of the world, that he had nuclear weapons, because that had some power associated with it. And so it's not the first time that somebody would say, yeah, I got a nuclear bomb, or I have nuclear weapons, or hint to that so that other people could be afraid of it and create an elaborate system around it. So I wouldn't say that, like Democrats say Bush lied or all that. I think Bush was honest in thinking that they were there. I just think it ended up that they weren't there.
Do you think they could have gotten moved in all the time we gave them before we went in to check?
Well, anything's possible. I don't know. I mean, tell you the truth, when I was a Marine Corps officer, I didn't think about the politics associated with where we were going and what we were doing, because my job was to do what my commander-in-chief wanted me to do, and I wanted to do it well. And when I went into Iraq, my mission was clear of what I had to do. And at that time, I wasn't sure if I was going to be a career officer or not. And so, a lot of people talk about, these redeployments and stuff like that, and it is hard on the service. The divorce rate and suicide rate is maybe at all-time highs. We need to do a much better job of treating our soldiers when they come home and their families. And we're just not doing a good enough job at that. But to be promoted, to be a career officer, to be a career enlisted guy or gal, you do have to go to war, or you have to go wherever we're going, because any promotion board in the future is going to say, hey, we were at war for 8 years. You didn't go one time. What were you doing? So, there's a notion out there that our military forces are reluctant to go. It's not true. The re-enlistment, the re-upping is high. This district has a huge number of veterans and active duty folks. I think 40% of the Republican households are veteran households. It's a very patriotic area, but it's also affected by the economy, and a great place for young men and women to go if they can't get a job somewhere is to join the military. Because it is a great way to learn a lot about yourself, and there's a lot of great benefits there as well.
What I would like to invite you to do, but let me clarify afterwards, is give you an opportunity to clarify a little bit more about primary care physicians or primary care in general. And the reason I bring this up is because here in Calhoun County we have a program that's been coordinated by IHP and Dr. Mary Ellen Benzik that really brought not only primary care physicians together, but our hospital, our nurses.
I don't have a problem with primary care. It's just that the notion that if we refocus everything on primary care and put all our dollars there, that it's going to fix people from getting older, or it's going to fix my son from being born with a congenital heart defect. That's not reality. And my approach to healthcare reform, which we need, would have been on a bullet-by-bullet approach, where you see a problem and you fix it and then move on to the next one. So right now we've made this huge sausage and nobody knows how it's going to taste. And all these, oh, by the ways, or we should have corrected this, or we didn't think of that. I mean, those are going to come many-fold down the line. Yeah,